따사로운 인간적인 여자 커피 한 잔에 여유를 아는 품격 있는 여자 밤이 오면 심장이 뜨거워지는 여자 그런 반전 있는 여자 너는 선호해
Hey grade 10s, welcome to Imperial Area Measurements online on YouTube while Mr. Forsyth's away and you're not. We're going to be taking a look at measuring area, and this you're going to find this so simple. You're measuring area of a rectangle and a circle. Ooh, whoop-de-doody. But the only problem with this is you're measuring area in inches and feet and being able to convert them back and forth. So in this unit, what this picture you see here is the front cover of the yellow handout that you have. It's photocopied from this textbook, so what you're going to see on the video is exactly the same pages that you're going to see in your handout. And what we're going to do in the first unit is simply, this first lesson 3.1 is take a look at estimating and calculating the area of an object in imperial units, so in inches and feet. All right, and then we're going to be doing that, using that information to solve some problems. So it's not going to be very difficult stuff. So if we take a look at the first one, and I calculated this out, and what I did is I took 32 inches and I rounded up to 36 inches because I'm trying to estimate this, which is close to 3 feet. And then I took the 20 inches, which this is supposed to be 20. I took the 20 inches of these two numbers here that Mackenzie found in her hole in a window, and I rounded it down. So I rounded one up and I rounded one down because that's what smart people do. And so, since that's what I would do, I took 3 times 1.5 and...
Oh, good for you!
And I made it into 4.5 square feet. So that was my estimate of 4.5 square feet based on the 3 feet times the 1.5 feet from my estimate here. So then we want to calculate, part B says calculate the actual area of Mackenzie's window. And so I did that here, and what I took was 32 times 20, and I got 640 square inches. Then I took that number and I divided it by 144. Now remember, we talked about this in class. Since you're going 2 dimensions, you're going 1 here. Let me just draw this for you. We're going 1 here. This was 32 inches up on her window. Can you see that down here? And 21 inches across. Well, I have to divide by 12 here and also by 12 here. And again, that's what smart people would do.
Oh, good for you!
So I'm going to divide this by 144 because that takes care of dividing by 12 lengthwise and dividing by 12 widthwise. All right? And that is the difficult part for a lot of people, is taking this and dividing it by 144. Okay? So 640 times, or divided by 144 gives me 4.44 square feet. And yes, Kazan, we're allowed to use decimals now because we're dealing with square feet, which is approximately, and that's what this symbol means, is approximately 4.5 square feet. If I take a look at the next question, well, again, how do I convert inches to square feet? So here's 32 by 27 foot or square foot box. So I got, this is 32 inches and this is 32 inches. So again, I kind of rounded that up to 2 or to 3 feet. I rounded this down to 2 feet, so 3 times 2 is 6. So this thing's got to be close to about 6 square feet. All right, so if I do the actual calculations over here, I took the 27 times 32, that's base times height, that's how simple this is, and I got 864 square inches. Well, then I take that measurement and I divide it by 144. And if you find, or you'll find that 864 divided by 144 is in fact 6 square feet. So this object, this rectangle, is 6 square feet, or 864 square inches. But the thing is, we don't deal with inches because it's too big of a number. It's not realistic. 864 inches, what is that? Who knows what that is? but we all kind of understand what 6 square feet would be. So if you look on the floor right now, there's going to be, if you're in my room, each tile is a square foot. So if you find 6 of them, 3 by 2, that's the area we're talking about. Well, did you know that was 864 square inches? More importantly, did you care that it was 864 inches? Of course not. 6 square feet is easy. 864 square inches is difficult. So we try to convert into square feet. That's something more reasonable. So at the bottom of that page on 119, there's this question called your turn. So the base of the rectangular box is 31 by 20. Estimate the area. Well, I did that here. And again, I said that 3 estimated 31 inches. I rounded it up to 3 feet or 36 inches. And I took 21 inches and I rounded it down to 1.5, which was about 18 inches. And I took the 3 times the 1.5 and I got 4.5 feet. So I think, because this is going to be pretty close to the window question, I think this is going to be about 4.5 feet. So then when I actually do the calculations, I took 31 times 21, and that is 651 square inches. I take that number and I divide it by 144, because there's 144 square inches in a square foot, and that gives me 4.5 square feet. Okay? So, you know what? Before we do that, let's take a look at this. I'm just going to add something in here. If you take a look here, just so you know what we're talking about, if I've got a square foot, and let's just draw a square, something that looks like a square, and I'm going to say that this is a foot by a foot. So this is 1 foot. Ooh, this is 1 foot by 1 foot. Well, I know there's 12 inches in this, and that's not even close. So let's redraw that. Sorry. I'm going to estimate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so let's say each of these is about an inch, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 inches there. So 1, 2, 3. All right, so if I drew lines through this, there's 1 inch, and 1 inch, and 1 inch, and I drew lines here, 1 inch, and 1 inch, and 1 inch, like so, I would find that there are 144 of these little whippersnappers in a square foot. So this, being a square inch, how many of them are there? Well, there's 12 inches this way, and there's 12 inches that way. So when I'm converting down from square feet and square inches to square inches, I have to divide by 144. So there's the reason I divide by 144, is because there are 144 square inches in a square foot. So if I know how many inches there are and I want to calculate that back to a square foot, I just simply divide by 144. So there's the reasoning and rationale there. So if you turn to page in your booklet, 120, you're going to find 8 questions there. And this starts with a big triangle and a square, basically a square and a rectangle, figure A and figure B. I want you to do questions 1 to 8 on that section. Okay? And again, you're just multiplying base times height. Be careful at the bottom, and that's what this is for right here. Area of a triangle, and there's a couple of triangles that you got to solve there. The area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2, or 1/2 times base times height. Okay? Now this would be a good place to pause this video, and then work on those 8 questions, and then come back. Now, continuing on, if I've got on the next page, estimate and calculate a circular area. Well, circles are simply written with the formula pi r squared. Okay? So, if I've got area equals pi times r squared, and they want me to estimate the area, well, pi is 3.14. And that's a rough estimate of pi, and the radius here is going to be 110 squared, which is 100. So I got 3.14. Let's reread that. I have 3.14 times 100, which I can do in my head pretty quick. It's just 314. So the area of this, Jason and 2 friends, Vicky and Kelly, decide to paint Jason's team crest at center ice at the rink at Clarenville. Looks like a Jets logo. They place the outside edge of the circular crest 10 feet from the center ice. So their This is going to be 314, I should have put this in, square feet. Okay, so we're just using pi times r squared. So then calculate the area to be painted to the nearest square foot. Well, in this case, because the estimation was so easy with the number 10, this is actually the answer, 314 square feet. Okay. So if I take a look at the next page, I mean, that's all there is. Over here, you've got what a radius and a diameter is, in case you forget. And this is a little explanation of pi. And there's not much to do here, just because you've all done area of a circle. So what I want you to do now is to try page 124, and I only want you to do questions 5, 7, 8, and 9. All right? Now, 9 is, when I looked at the photocopy, 9 is hard to see. So it's curling ring, and I will try to remember to paint that in. If not, I've got the book left here for Mrs. Fickert, and she can show you what it looks like, or you can bring it up and say, what is this supposed to look like? And same thing, anything that's photocopied and doesn't show up very clearly, just ask Mrs. Fickert to show you in the textbook what it looks like. Once you're done that, and again, this would be a good place to pause it, but once you're done that, I want you to turn to the next page, 126, in the section called Work With It, and I want you to do questions 1 to 5. And again, they're all circles and rectangles, and I don't think you'll have any problems. The biggest thing is converting square feet to square inches and square inches to square feet. All right, well, good luck with that, and then when you're done this, you can check the second section of this video, or second section of this unit, on the next YouTube video. Okay, good luck.